I hope this never happens to anyone here, but have you or known someone ever have their house flooded late at night because a water line broke underneath maybe their sink? Well, if you look right here, this is a supply line that was split because the temperature in the house dropped below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. The ice formed, splitting the line, causing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage to that facility. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about 3 topics dealing with repairing that supply line. 1 is safety, 2 is tools and steps needed to repair the line, and finally, types of professional tools. Let's start off with safety. According to the October 2012 Bureau of Labor Statistics report, 3 million non-fatal incidents were reported in 2011 alone. And according to my CDCs for my career field, 88% of unsafe acts are caused by human error. Now that we have the facts out of the way, what kind of safety equipment do we need? Well, watches, rings, shiny things, take them off. The equipment that you need to use for today is safety goggles, gloves, a bucket of water that's sitting over here, and a fire extinguisher in case there's a fire that you have to put out. Now that we have our safety equipment on, let's go to fixing that line. Tools and steps needed to repair this line. You're going to need the copper tubing itself, a fitting, which is I've chosen a male adapter because the angle stop has a female end to it. We're going to need solder, which is 95.5, which is 5% lead, flux, blowtorch, emery cloth, and a brush. And finally, some Teflon tape. What you're going to take first, you need to turn off the water to the facility, or if it's on the hot water side, you're going to have to turn off the valve at the water heater, which these valves may look like this, which is a ball valve. It's a quick opening, closing device, or it could be a gate valve, which you just turn it clockwise till it closes. And if it's the cold water line, you may have to go maybe underneath the house or part of the house that's closest to the street, or maybe it's next to the water heater that's where all the valves are together, and that's very helpful. Now that we know the parts that we need and we have our water shut off, let's fix that pipe. You're going to take your tubing cutter, which looks like this. You're going to turn it around the pipe over and over, turning the knob turn it clockwise a quarter turn every time so it's cut through the pipe. Afterwards, we're going to take our emery cloth, clean the pipe till it's nice and shiny, and there's no debris, no any kind of foreign objects or anything, that just clean as can be. Then you're going to do the same thing inside of your male fitting. Add flux inside of it. The reason why we need flux is because once we get the fitting hot enough, the solder can get sucked in between the tubing itself and the fitting. After that, we have everything prepped. We're going to add the torch, turn it on, heat it up, add your solder where there's no, if there's green, that's too hot because you don't want to burn your fitting. But once it sucks in, the soldering part is done. All you got to do is cool it off with a wet rag. Just very down. Afterwards, after it's cooled down, take your Teflon tape, wrap around the threads, then add your angle stop. And the soldering is done. And if this is what it looks like whenever you're done soldering. Now the supply line's done. Now let's look at the different types of professional tools, if you think that was pretty cool. Well, this is called a soldering gun, which uses electricity to close the circuit. You put on the fitting and it heats it up. The bad thing is that it puts off a lot of smoke. But the good thing is there's no flame. So you just add it up, do the exact same steps afterwards. You cool it down, add the fitting, and it's done. And if you can't turn the water off and you have a small leak, you can use something called a pro press. This is used as special fittings. It looks like this, has an O-ring inside. You put it in there like this over the line and pull the trigger, and it crimps down on the line. And that's all you got to do. And if you don't have the money to do any of that, you can use something called a shark bite or a gator bite that you can find at your local Lowe's or Home Depot, and it just slides right on, just like that. This fitting costs about $5 to $15. Now that I have talked to you about the different types of professional tools, let's go over the 3 topics we talked about today. We talked about safety, tools and steps to complete the job, and different types of professional tools. Now that you have a better understanding of what all these are, with patience, you can do it yourself by not calling a plumber, which can cost you $50 to $1,000 just to fix a supply line. And you can do it yourself.